is by Lucille's Roadhouse, Airport Road in Weatherford. Joining us on the phone is State Representative Harold Wright. Hello.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to
Good
the show.
morning. Yay. How are you doing this morning?
Hey, I'm doing very good, very good. Getting ready to start the morning at the Capitol here just shortly.
I'll say, are you guys still meeting? I feel like every time we turn around, something else is being canceled or postponed. Or I'm sure you heard last night about the what happened in downtown Oklahoma City, the Chesapeake, with the Oklahoma City
I
Thunder.
did. Yeah, as a matter of fact, I was. We worked late last night on the floor passing some House bills, and we got through about 7:30. And I had tickets to the game, and so we went on to the game. And just as we were getting in the parking lot, people were coming out, so we didn't get in the peak.
Oh,
Fortunately,
wow.
I'm kind of glad we didn't. But
Yeah.
people said, I said, where are you all going? Because they were going the opposite direction we were going, and they said, well, the game has been canceled. And we said, well, why? And the rumors were that one of the players had the coronavirus. So
Yeah, which that turned out to be true.
which was the truth, and it was interesting because we talked to some of the people who were there, and they said the players actually got out on the court and started warming up, and then the referees came out and talked to them, and then they went into the locker room, and then they came out and announced that the game was canceled.
Wow.
Yeah, and then following that, about 30, 45 minutes later, the whole NBA season's been suspended.
Yeah, isn't that amazing that one thing occurred? And I guess the Big 12 tournament's just going to be on TV. Have you heard that?
Yeah, the Big 12 tournament's just going to be on TV. It's just going to have they are letting family members come and people that work for the universities that need to be there, obviously. But nobody else is allowed in as well. Not only that, but the UCO is extending, I believe, their spring break by a week and moving to online classes. There's also OU and OSU, of course, are still in discussion about it. But UCO is moving. OCU is moving to online classes for 2 weeks after their spring breaks as well. And then the University of Tulsa, they're moving to online courses as well. So my question for you, and I know this, are we all overreacting, or is it one of those thoughts where people are dying and we're trying to do everything we can to prevent that?
Well, I think we're trying to do everything we can to prevent it, obviously, but I think that there is a little bit of a panic going on, and I think the key is not to panic. This is a flu type of virus, and the percentage, of death is really low, even though it's higher than a regular flu from what I understand. So I'm just advising people not to panic and don't rush to the emergency room. I guess here in Oklahoma City, the emergency rooms are packed with people just wanting to come in and get tested because they've got a cold or whatever.
Oh, wow.
And so, they say you need to stay at home if you have some of those symptoms, which would include fever. So if you don't have a fever, you probably don't have it, obviously. You may just have a cold, but if you have a fever and flu-like symptoms, then you need to call your primary care physician and get some advice on what to do and where to go, and ultimately become tested to see if you happen to have it. But in the meantime, you need to stay kind of isolated from other people if that's the case.
State Representative Harold Wright on the phone with us. We've talked to Dr. Blake Badgett this morning. We talked to Superintendent of Elk City Public Schools Rick Garrison this morning as well. And we've got coming up later the Vice President of Public Relations for SWASU, Mr. Brian Adler. He's going to be on with us. And then tomorrow we've got Clinton Public Schools Superintendent on. We're basically kind of covering, trying the whole area, what everybody's doing in their eyes to help protect Oklahomans. And I guess that's my question. Is the legislature doing anything specific to help protect Oklahomans, whether it be with legislation or be with funding for a certain group or anything of that nature?
Well, not that, the legislature really doesn't have any say-so about that. There's not a lot that we can do, although we would encourage funding to the health department if that's necessary. And they have a plan in place, and the state health department's really the area that's most involved in this. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to be talking to one of the officials from the health department at 9 o'clock this morning to get a better idea of what we could do if we can help in some way. And I'm going to do an interview with him, and that's going to be on Sunday Digest at 8 o'clock on KWY Sunday morning.
Oh, wow.
So
is there a chance we maybe could pull some of that interview with you and have play that a little bit tomorrow morning?
Yes. I'm going to be sending that after 9 this morning. So, I will convey that message to Mike, and I'm sure he'll do a news story on that.
Okay, perfect.
And we'll have a complete interview on Sunday morning.
Okay.
But But we're trying to figure out what we can do as a legislature. There's not really a legislation you can pass at this point, and the funding could be available if necessary, and that would be something we could do if we need additional funding. I'm sure the governor and the legislature find a way to give some additional dollars to the health department if that's necessary.
You have different, for example, San Francisco, they're a big thing because originally that's how the NBA season started yesterday, was saying that the Golden State Warriors, I believe, and I don't remember who they're playing, but they weren't allowing fans at that game because they currently have an ordinance that gatherings of 1,000 people or more are not allowed. I guess that's kind of my question. Is there any thought or any talk of Governor Stitt or anybody issuing something of that nature at any time soon?
Well, there's a possibility, but I think the big thing is not to panic at this particular point. This is interesting because I thought at least last night that the TV station Oklahoma City kind of went overboard, as they do sometimes with the weather situation, and it's never as bad as they say. I just hope people don't panic and not overreact to this situation, because we got to use a little common sense in the approach on this deal. And the flu, it's a virus. You can't take anything like to get rid of it. But I did talk to a doctor that said, I don't know what Dr. Badger said, but the doctor told me that taking Tamiflu, if you happen to get the virus, then that's a good thing, because it doesn't kill the virus, but it helps your body get over it quicker. So it kind of builds an immune system within your body that helps you get over the flu quicker. You're just not a good host for a virus when you take the Tamiflu.
Huh. Yeah, it's been great for us in our house anytime we've had the flu, but I know people have mixed reactions when I tell them about Tamiflu. I'm like, hey, make sure and get that. But you say don't panic. The best thing to do is not to panic. But before this even was announced yesterday, before the basketball stuff happened, NBA stuff, people are already panicking. Even in our communities here in Western Oklahoma, seeing pictures of shelves that were empty. Toilet paper being restocked over and over and over again.
I had a friend, I said Walmart has just restocked toilet paper, and I was so excited, and I scrolled down, and it was a picture of a bunch of Dallas Cowboys jerseys. That was very mean. Very, very mean.
Oh, man.
Well, I think we've got to, that's good in sense. We've got to maintain a good sense of humor and do what we can, obviously, to prevent the disease. And, not getting in places where there's a lot of people is a good idea, particularly if you're in the elderly. I have a friend that is over 80, and she is staying in. She's sort of quarantined herself just to stay away from the possibility of running into the virus. Here at the Capitol, we see a lot of people, and I wash my hands probably 10 times a day, and I also use a lot of the alcohol, and that's what the health people we have the nurses and we have pharmacists that are in the legislature, and they've said, hey, look, this is a flash. It's a virus. It's going to spread, so you need to wash your hands a lot, use a lot of alcohol in your hands to prevent, and then do your fist bump or whatever. Try not to get in a situation where you're spreading the germs,
I know that we encourage, of course, everyone to do their best, and I know they're private institutions and entities, but at the same time, the reason the death rate is even so high, they say, is because it got into a nursing home in Seattle.
That's 6 right there, right?
And so my question is there any thought of that? Can we encourage nursing homes to not allow visitors for a little bit? Can we encourage nursing homes to maybe go into a little more isolation mode? Just like you mentioned, because they seem to be at such high risk, or is there really nothing, I mentioned legislation to do anything to push that through?
How very democratic of you.
I don't think that necessary legislation is necessary for that, but I think the health department will take whatever action they need to take, and that certainly is something I'm sure they'll suggest, that you don't go to nursing homes, and the people in the nursing homes need to stay, as isolated as possible.
Yeah, makes sense.
Very good. Well,
Harold, is there anything you want to talk about this morning? I know like I said, the virus has been taking over pretty much the conversations this morning, but I don't want to miss on anything important bills or legislation that you want to mention.
Well, I did get my clean air bill through the House yesterday. I wanted to mention that this morning.
Yeah.
I have worked really hard on that bill to work with all the stakeholders, and it goes now to the Senate, and it's going to be continued to be worked on over there, and then hopefully we'll get a bill out at some point down the line that will help Oklahoma become a more smoke-free state. And I know there's people against some of my issues on that, but overall, I'm just trying to help save lives in Oklahoma. That's the bottom line for me in that bill. Because secondhand smoke is definitely a contributor, and smoking is a contributor to our poor health in Oklahoma.
I definitely agree with that. Yeah, they even mentioned, back to the smoking and whatnot makes you, because your lungs are what are at highest risk for this virus.
The biggest thing I feel bad for folks is the secondhand smoking, especially people that are just going to work and having to breathe that in. Yeah,
the other night I just was out doing I did this on purpose. I went to one of these bars that where they allow smoking, and I was there for about 30 minutes just kind of checking things out, kind of see what it was like. And there were a lot of people smoking in there, and the smoke was in. You walk in and you just, are infiltrated by smoke. And the bartender was not smoking. So he'd been working in there 8 hours. I was only there for about 30 minutes. And when I got back to my place where I stay, I just, I could smell that smoke. And then the next morning, my voice was a little bit froggy. Wow. And it was because of, just an hour or so that breathing that smoke. And so secondhand smoke we do pay a toll for that.
Yeah, it's time for a change.
So anyway, I've been beat up pretty bad by some people over this bill because I'll be honest with you, the tobacco companies don't want it because they like people to smoke. Yeah. It's that simple. And they don't care.
Like I've said before, even smokers will admit that when they are in an environment like that, they'll smoke more. It's almost better that they need to go outside to smoke for their health as well.
Well, it's a proven fact that the more you limit smoking, the more fewer people smoke, and ultimately the bottom line is people are healthier. And if we would smoke less in Oklahoma and walk more, we'd be a lot healthier state.
Whoa, walk more? Whoa, what are you trying to do to me?
You need to exercise, John. I know you've been working on it.
John's lost weight. Yeah.
I have been working on it, slowly but surely.
John's lost like a whole person already.
Wow. I don't know if I should be offended or not.
Look really good. Well, State Representative. What?
Obesity and smoking are the two biggest reasons Oklahoma's health statistics are so high.
Scarier than coronavirus.
Yeah, I'm just my one final thought. Just don't drink Corona. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, the misconceptions there.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being on. And if anyone wants to get a hold of you, talk to you about anything, what do they do?
Just give me a call to Capital, 405-557-7325. Talk with Dee or me, and we'll get you taken care of.
All right. Conversation Corner is brought to us by Lucille's Roadhouse. Coming up here in just a few moments, in about 10 minutes or so, we'll talk to the Public Relations Director and also the man just under the president of the university. We'll be talking to Brian Adler.
There you go. Vice President of Public Relations.
SWASU.
There it is.
That's coming up next on the Coyote.
The new Van and John Show this Thursday morning, sponsored by Doug Gray Auto.